Next speaker is Mr. S. Bhattacharjee. He is Principal Consultant Aadhaar Innovation Center, Government of Karnataka. He will be delivering talk on use of eSign in e-governance services and KRDH platform. In the last 6+ years since inception of Aadhaar initiative by UIDAI, he has been engaged by Center for E-Governance, Government of Karnataka to implement Aadhaar projects in the state. In, in this current endeavor, he is engaged in architecting open source based Karnataka resident data hub platform to enable Aadhaar based service delivery by the line departments and creating cross-linking repository of beneficiaries across government schemes in order to weed out duplicate, bogus beneficiaries and violations of eligibility. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, and good afternoon. I know it's a tough time, 2:40 is not the right time for this, so my primary job is to keep you awake. So, on behalf of Center for E-Governance, Government of Karnataka, I thank CCA and CDAC to giving us this opportunity to present what is happening with the eSign at the government side. We talked about on the individual and at the banking sectors and things like that. So in the previous thing also, Commander Prakash said, what is government doing with this eSign? So, why these digital signs, signatures are not used that much, right? So I'm trying to answer some of the questions possibly at the end of the thing I will be able to do. PKI in e-governance, what is the current scenario? Let's look at it, what is the current scenario today? And citizen today, he wants to apply for a driving license. He wants to apply for a caste certificate. He wants to apply for a passport. What does he do? Citizen fills up application forms in the web application. All of them have a web application, right? So you go and fill up in the, the regional transport office website, and you go and fill up all your details. Example for education, identification, certification, and things like that. Then you take the printout of that form, sign it physically, go to the department and submit it. This is the process for the citizen today. Actually, it has not made his life simple, has it? It has possibly made it more complex. His process remains the same, so he is not interested, right? So that's the one of the scenarios that we have. Now let's take digital certificates can have been provided to limited government officials. So today, not many government officials really have a digital certificates. I will go through that and then possibly give an answer. The key department users of the PKI in Government of Karnataka is there are some small departments who are using in a very limited sense, but I've just picked up the Treasury Department. They have started using it, and when I went there and spoke to them about the eKYC, most of the departments say, can I have it tomorrow? Can I have it next week? Give me a timeline. So that is the kind of a response that we are getting from the departments. So went to the Treasury Department, and they have just started issuing the digital certificates to the DDOs. Now, looking at the scale, there are 25,000 DDOs in the Treasury Department. Now, can you imagine how do I maintain these digital certificates of these 25,000 people? So it will expire, or it needs renewal, or the platform is not there. Actually, that becomes a major bottleneck for the departments. So they are very skeptical about distributing the digital certificates through there, because they know they will not be able to manage. At the right time, most of you must have seen, like at least I've also experienced, most of the time, like when it's very critical, your digital certificate does not work, because Murphy is active somewhere, right? So now let's look at the e-procurement. the government of Karnataka has given the e-procurement, citizen uses the digital certificates. So this is where like, the real public or the citizen gets interacted with. And for the, what we have done that is the financial code or the financial document that is submitted along with the bid is actually digitally signed. So we don't really go for a technical document digitally signing and things like that at this point of time. Tender accepting authority decrypts the financial bid, and then you have you can get the financial data. So more than 65,000 tenders have been floated through the e-procurement. So that means these are the digital certificates that has been used so far in the e-procurement. More than 3 lakhs registered users are there in the e-procurement at this point of time. So this is the kind of currently that is happening. Human resource management system, that is also, that has an additional 21,000 DDOs. Now again, you go back to your management system that, how do I manage these 21,000 digital certificates? Rather, let's let it go as is. So this is the bottleneck that we are seeing it for the acceptance of the digital certificates in the government in a limited form. So, sorry. So now let's take some use case. I've just taken some screenshots of the systems that we have. You know, like, so the circle ones are the critical data that I would like to digitally sign it. I am not going to sign all of these information. So I am looking at it, what is critical. And this is where like I pick up the data. It is not a document. It is a data that I had to pick up and I have to sign it. So the data is to be signed. You know, like, so that is how like currently the Khazane 2 works on that. So let's go to the next one. E-procurement, again the same thing. So what is the financial code and what are the other things, those critical information that you take and digitally sign it. You know, so that's again a data, it's not the document. So there is a data plus the financial bid document, it is digitally signed. Similarly for the HRMS, like it is a typically like organogram of the Karnataka State Police, like, you know, so now you have the organogram, some person, like he goes and changes the certain data of their positions and the salaries and other things. So those are the ones which gets, again, a data digitally signed, right? So again, it is not a data. It is not a document that is digitally signed. So if you look at it, most of the applications which are there, it is a data, some portion of the data that gets signed, right? So it is not the, I have a PDF document I need to sign. No, I don't see that kind of cases. So what are the limitations? Handling of dongle is a nightmare. Procurement, government takes enough time to procure, number one. Maintenance is a difficult task for government because it's, again, you have to go through this. And the dongles don't expire on, not together. Every day possibly they are expiring. So there is a huge number of people like, who are engaged just to handle digital certificates. It's not worth, possibly. So security, risk of misuse. It's rampant. I've seen in the government, no government officer actually uses digital dongle. He gives it to the PA. And the PA knows his PIN. And many places I have seen, like even the whole department knows the PIN. Because the PA has given it to the another somebody to sign it. So it's a major security risk. And I don't see any, or rather I've seen very few government officers who keep their certificate to themselves. They don't share the PIN. They sign it themselves. It is very, very few. And rest of the departments in the taluk or the district, it's all Ram Bharose, right? You know, so, yeah, you know, there is a major drawback that we have for the misuse of this. Now, periodic renewals is the initial and the recurring cost. Renewals, not a scalable solution. I cannot scale it at the government when we are talking about in crores. Large number of business processes have not incorporated digital certificates. And when but they have the need. But they know what the consequences are. When you go to the eSign, they get excited about it. This is a new paradigm, this eSign. I think I'm not going to talk about the major things because Commander already spoke about many of these eSign architecture, and probably in the morning the CDAC had already covered that. eSign methodology, no need for dongle. And now the paperless application by citizen. So now citizen does not have to go to the, again, department after filling up all these forms and go and stand in the queue and submit that. No, it can be completely online, right? Can scale up to any level. So now with the eSign architecture, like where you don't need any dongle, you just need a Aadhaar and your fingerprint, that's it. So with that, I can scale up. Now government departments are seeing like many reports that comes from the village accountant to the tehsildars to the district. There are a bunch of data that keeps on going up and down. Now they are thinking like, hey, I can sign it. I can tell even the village accountant to sign it. So I think like it's opening up the thought process there is a thought grenades which are coming up. So we see a very positive response from the department. Impersonation. Now he cannot share his fingerprint. He cannot share his finger to his PA. Right? So now we are enforcing even in the eSign, our design enforces that in the government process, if there is a eSign, no OTP will be allowed. It has to be a fingerprint. So that solves many of these problems of sharing the PIN all over the place. So this ensures that who has signed it, at least he has read it. Ease of signing by the residents and the government staff, easy way, digitally signing any document at any levels, and which also gives a legal sanctity and non-repudiation for the government side. eSign interface and the web application, that is somebody talked about how this web application is going to work. I have just taken an example of a typical web page interface. It's e-procurement, and you have a bunch of things. What is the tender number? You have filled up many things, right, in your application. Tender number, what is the EMT paid, and technical proposed document. And at the bottom, you will see there is eSign. So moment he clicks eSign, a eSign pop-up menu will come up. And this is the snapshot of the pop-up menu. This is in the design. Now we are in the process of implementing it. So it will say the eSign pop-up window, like please enter your Aadhaar number, and then there are a couple of terms and conditions and things like that. Then he says, yes, I agree. He has a choice, one-time password, or he can go for the biometric. Moment he gives that, like if it is a one-time password, he types in the password, and then otherwise he gives a fingerprint. So once he does that, then there is a hell of a lot of things that goes on into the back end. Like I will slightly touch upon that. And at the end, the end user sees that eSign is successful, right? So that's what he gets. And then he gets a transaction ID so that he can follow up and things like that. So now, as I said, this is the interface where we will restrict it with the one-time password for the government processes. Now, there is another use case that we are seeing that in a standalone mode. That is where like also the previous one was embedded into the web application. So now we are looking at like, a department wants to say like, send a document. He has a spreadsheet or he has a certain things that he has built it up. Like he wants to share it with his boss, or he wants to share it with certain authority or outside. He wants to, in a standalone mode, he wants to take the document and sign it and send it by the email or whatever it is. So similarly, for the digitally signed, the DigiLocker, like some of the initiatives that have started. So in the DigiLocker also, like, he can, though DigiLocker gives a provision for a eSign, however, the citizen can also go into their own local system, pull out that document, e-sign it, and then upload it. So at the bottom, any web application, any uh, department has their own software for their business processes. Like he will have a one tab called eSign. Moment he does the eSign, he gets the same kind of thing. On the top you will see this is upload the file. So he goes through the directory and subdirectory and picks up the file. He can also choose the multiple files, right? So this is the interface that we are going to give, that he can choose a bunch of files, and then he says, like, e-sign it. So he browses it, and then he says, like, okay, upload it and e-sign it. Then the system is going to pick up one after another, each of those files, and sign it, and then at the end he will have a save it. Yeah, save the file. So he's digitally signed. This is the user interface I'm talking about. Again, in the back end, many things happens, right? So now, this is one of the standalone mode. Now we are also here, I will touch upon slightly on the Karnataka Resident Data Hub. It is integrated with the Data Hub. This, actually, I have been associated with the Aadhaar, with Government of Karnataka implementation since its inception in 2009. And I have gone through all the madness of the Aadhaar that is going. So once we gave the Aadhaar to the citizen, then we started thinking what to do with that Aadhaar. So we started calling it as a seeding, you would have heard of. So there is in the banking sector also, like the seeding is a must. So that is where, like, you associate the Aadhaar with the beneficiary ID. In banking sector, it may be bank account. So somewhere you do the linking. And while doing the linking, Karnataka Resident Data Hub creates a kind of a link that one citizen, what are the services that he is availing from the government? So with the one anchor point of the Aadhaar, I can figure out that what are the services that he is doing across the schemes. Today, if you look at, there are 180 schemes from the government of Karnataka. And actually, nobody knows, like, who is availing what. So many of the people, like, who are availing 2 scholarships, they are availing this benefit, that benefit, all those things. Because the department are not talking to each other in the normal circumstances. Now, KRDH is giving the data hub for the residents, all the beneficiaries. So I know exactly what are the availing system citizen is availing, and also where the discrepancies are. So it was launched, it was 2004. It is operational, KRDH in Karnataka. And yes, we had in between some slowness on the Aadhaar. There was a stalemate, Supreme Court, and now we are all back with the full force with the Aadhaar Act. So now the departments have started acting on it. And in last 3 months, Food and Civil Supply Department has already cancelled 2.5 lakhs of ration cards. So we are doing it quietly. We are not announcing it in the paper. So, so similar discrepancies have started coming out. We have just taken a sample of 40,000 Aadhaar of the government employees. And we have seen is the children of government employees are availing scholarship. 3-year-old kid is taking old age pension. These are the data which is available to us. So now this is a sample 40,000 we took. Now we are processing the entire data because we have around 14 crore of data that we have collected in the last 2.5 years. So things are coming up. So this is where the KRDH is, and we are going to integrate this with eSign into this platform. So in this KRDH platform also, any citizen who is having an Aadhaar can log into this of government in the Karnataka state. Moment he logs in, like, he gets information about his data and all these things that he has submitted. And also we are incorporating now what are the things that he is eligible for. So what I talked about, the duplicate, bogus entries and ineligible person, it's more of a exclusive. what we are also targeting for inclusive. If a citizen is he is a BPL, he possibly is eligible for health insurance. So this portal, when he logs in, like he gets it like, or what are the things he's eligible for, and what are the things he's not eligible for also. Like it gives that. So that is where we are going to give a eSign. Any citizen can log into that, gives an Aadhaar, gives an OTP, he gets into it. And then he can pick up any of the document that he wants to sign it and send it through the email, or somebody is asking for it. So he goes the same process that the department did. He uploads, he selects through the browser, and then he uploads it, e-sign it, and then at the end of the day, he will get where he wants to save it. So this is the e-sign architecture. On the right-hand side, you will see slightly gray, which possibly is architecture has been talked about in the whole day. So I'm not going to touch upon it, I'm going to touch upon the right side, which is basically how a department application is going to interact with. So you have the end user at the right-hand side. It may be department end user, department staff. It can be the resident and others. They interact with the department application. So they are not interacting directly with the eSign. Interacts with the department application. Department application will talk to the KRDH, that is called ASP, which talks to the, this is a 1.6 architecture document that is from CCA, where the ASP it has a provision to do the eKYC. So in the architecture, which was a 1.1, it was actually like it was the ESP who does the eKYC. So he does that. So whatever I said, like he will do the hashing, he will do the application, all these things. Like there is a auth applet, the eSign applet, and eSign servlet. These are the things that we are going to provide it to the departments in order to do the complete cycle of that. E-volume estimation. DigiLocker has a dependency on eSign, right? All the documents to be uploaded is a eSign. So we estimate in the next 3 years, the volume will go to 32 crore per year. So this is the estimation that we have come. 16 crore will come from a business process of the government, like that is approval, sanctioning, and other things. And 15 crore will come from uploading documents by the issuer to the DigiLocker. So this is the volume that we are gearing up for building our infrastructure scaling. Processing capacity, we have done some calculations, some jugglery with the numbers, and it has come out to 1.6 lakhs transactions per hour. So that is the capacity that I need to build in order to cater to the eSign for the entire state. So what are the challenges? What we have come across is the MS Office document signing is a nightmare. Like if you have most of the places I'm seeing that they are saying like I will have a PDF, I will convert it into PDF and assign it. I gave you to sign a Word document, you convert it into PDF and sign me. That's not possible. That's not legal, not right. I asked for a masala dosa, you gave me a plain dosa. That's not right. I have given you a Word, you jolly well sign the Word and give it to me. I have given you a spreadsheet, you jolly well sign and give me back the spreadsheet. But in the Microsoft world, in the PDF world, you can do it. As you see on the right-hand side, there is a tick mark like, okay, it has been signed, etc., etc. So visually, you can see here is the document, here is what it is validated. Microsoft does not give any APIs to do it. It does it with the interactive. At the right bottom, you see like you have a Word, you go into the Word, and then you go and click and you sign it. Now, when I'm signing 32 crore, I cannot possibly go into each of those and sign it. So I think we are having a challenge with that. We have spoken to MS Office, Development Center in Bangalore, now we are not getting the right answer from them. Multiple signature in a document, that's another challenge that we have. We need nothing to do with the eSign. eSign is pretty safe. but we as an application provider or the platform provider, we have to give that bulk signing. So that is, you have, most of the government departments do like, okay, take some 34 lakh certificates and sign it. So that's how government works. Signature for the server level, I think just now like I saw somewhere like that at the server level, the eSign is giving some provisions, which we have yet to see, like I haven't seen. Scaling up the IT infrastructure, if you go now, just now during the lunch I was talking about, it's the entire ecosystem has to scale up. It's not only like I have this bunch of 20 servers and I can take the eSign. No, you have a dependency with the KRDH ESP. ESP has a dependency with the for the eKYC. eKYC has a dependency with the CIDR server and the lease line. And then you have the scalability of the ESP, you have a scalability of the certifying authority. So gone those days, like where we used to have like, okay, I have a Bhumi, let me scale up, put 20 servers, and I'm done with. Today, the solutions are ecosystem. The entire ecosystem has to cater to it. So when I'm talking about the 30 crore, I really get a nightmare whether this ASP will be able to handle, whether I have a lease line to do the eKYC, whether I have ESP has a scalability. So these are the things that we need to take care when we are really building up the volume. It may not happen tomorrow. Down 18 months, we do expect to reach somewhere near that number. Okay, so now this is the scalability of the IT infrastructure, and this is something that I just picked up, food for thought. Today morning, Professor had talked about the lot of food for thoughts he gave. So this is a typical sale deed. You have bunch of sign at the bottom, and then you have a certain format where you have a name, you have a photograph, and then next to that is a signature. If this is what I want to replace it with the eSign, so I have a lot of issues or a lot of challenges that we have to face. Because now eSign has to be shown at the right place, because this is the document that the citizen is used to as a sale deed. Now, if somebody today, the Stamps and Registration Department comes back and says, here is your dongle and here is your sale deed, will you accept? I will not accept. I want to see the document, which is signed by many, blue, red, green, all these things, then only like I believe in that, right? Any one of you will accept it today. Here is your sale deed, your house worth of 4 crore, and here is a dongle, in that like there is a sale deed. I don't think like we have reached that stage, right? So the citizen would like to see the sale deed like this. So when I render it, I need to render for the Stamps and Registration Department exactly in this way. Then only he can give it to the citizen. So this is the challenge. And when I went to the Stamps and Registration Department, they said, this is what we want to do. Can you produce with this? I'm yet to go back to them second time. Okay. Because I don't know, really, we haven't reached that stage to really represent it or render it in this format. So this is the challenges. So there's a food for thought. I see some signal coming in. Yeah, thank you. Any questions? Yeah, we'll probably finish off with the 2 questions, and later we can take it up again. Yeah. No, this eKYC is getting with a central repository of Aadhaar.
Agreed. Can thumbprints be copied? Like I have my fingerprints, so it can be copied by someone else using some technology or some means, and then he can generate.
No, you can always generate it, but I will not go to you to do the authentication. Authentication, I'm going to the Aadhaar CIDR. So whatever they have stored, if they are stored wrongly, I will get wrong answer.
No, I am asking, can my fingerprints be copied by someone and he can generate the e-signature on my behalf and then misuse?
No, the eKYC is for the digital eSign, we are going to the Aadhaar.
Correct.
right? So without the Aadhaar, yes, it is, or no, I am not processing it. So somebody has his own infrastructure with his own signature and all these things. It's possible. Yes, ma'am. So what you are saying that Aadhaar repository is having a what you call failure in terms of no.
No,
Suppose somebody steals your thumbprint and does it. Suppose somebody makes a mark, goes to the register office. The eSign cannot address the security or otherwise of Aadhaar. Aadhaar is a system which has undergone security checks, they have examined. There will be always theoretical loopholes which will turn practical someday. What you presently have is me going there and saying, believe me, I am LR Prakash, this is my laminated PAN card and this is my signature. What you're having tomorrow is somebody from Aadhaar has already checked me, given me an Aadhaar, and now you're rechecking using a biometric. All I can say is it's a step ahead of what you have today. Whether it is theoretically possible to copy fingerprints and steal, that is a question you should ask UIDAI.
is Ramachandran here, Rama?
Yeah,
Rama?
Yeah. Can I answer, sir? For the authentication, when you give the fingerprint, it gets encrypted at the device level. So that cannot be copied because that's where the PKI is used.
Around 1.5 years before, when German hacker has taken a photograph, using a simple photograph, the minister is speaking on the stage, using a camera, he has taken his fingerprints and forged it. 1.5 years ago, it can be checked online also.
He has to forge it at the UIDA level. Yes, that is possible, but in this case it cannot be. Yes.
So how secure is it?
Outside of this eSign, he can do many things.
So my only question is how secure is using thumbprints, using Aadhaar to generate a signature to sign documents and financial transactions and everything? That's the only thing.
No, what Ram, you want to? So
Any signature can be forged, any mobile number can be compromised for an OTP, and forging a fingerprint is much more difficult than what is
yeah, possibly, like, can we do it this way? So, I think after this, like, we have some break. Like, we can always debate about it. I think it's, yeah, Ram.
Yeah, while capturing this one fingerprint, it applies some biometric this also. So even just copying that data, if photocopy of that kind of thing, it will not work on that STQC certified products. UIDAI mandated that they have to use STQC certified fingerprint capture. So there, apart from that, just that image, it like liveness of that finger also testing.
Okay, we'll take it up. Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, 1.6 is what, like, is probably, you know, like, it's yes, that's what the architecture says, but we have to still get confirmed from the UIDAI and CCA. Yeah, it gives a provision.
Various use cases where for a loan agreement, multiple co-applicants may have to sign on a sales deed. Yeah, so
Minutes of the meeting.
yeah, right. So one was that the thing what you're asking was for optics, where the signatures or the or the print has to be shown, but if a document is digitally signed, then my question is that how can multiple people sign the same agreement? So is it that the first time an agreement is being signed, a signature gets affixed, then that agreement is again taken, sent to the second guy,
So
gets...
that's why my challenge was that this is something that we have to overcome on the multiple signature. So we don't have the solution at this point of time. We have to overcome.
Okay,
And remember, this multiple signature does not have simultaneously. One officer will sign it now, another officer will sign it after 2 days.
exactly, it has to be sequential, yeah.
So this is the challenge that we have to overcome it. Yeah.
This kind of environment, we can use a web-based signing. That's what we understand from that some of the providers, eSign signature providers, that this can be easily implemented through web-based signing. More details is Vijay Kumar.
I'll connect with them. And the third question was regarding the consent. So, say a document is being shown, and there was a consent that you agreed to sign it via an OTP or a thumbprint. That was the first consent. Second is, as per the specification, it mentions that we have to show the certificate again and then again take a consent on it, of the certificate. So do we have to take a consent on the certificate? We have to display the certificate and take a consent on it, and post that we have to show the affixed signature document as well.
No, I would put it depends on the application. Certain application may not need. Certain application has a criticality.
No, but the specification says in a very generic way that these are the 10 steps what have to be followed, and the 9th step says this.
Possibly Ram can say that answer.
No, but is it generally, or like do we have to do it because in court of law whether it would, yeah.
Unless you show the certificate to the user, how we can ensure that that's same?
Yeah, so my question is just that we have to show the certificate, take a consent on the certificate, then affix the signature on the document, then show that affixed signature document, again take a consent.
Otherwise, what you have to do is, suppose if you have to sign 10 documents, then you have to get a consent from the user. For these 10 certificates, since digital signature, one consent is good enough.
No, where I'm coming from is that it can always happen that I show you a document and get a signature done on other document. So a consent on the on the document has to be shown. So three consents are required. No, one is at the time for the agreement.
While you are generating the signature, second, when the certificate has been generated and signature has been appended. That's the second consent.
Yeah, so but the specification says that the specification says that before affixing the signature to the document, you have to show the certificate and take a consent.
Certificate,
So that is the consent.
user should accept the certificate. That means it has to.
So that's what I'm saying. That is the second step.
So that's the application, implementation, yes, sir.
I'll connect separately.
I would like to mention that there is a question answer session at the end of the day. So we can take up the questions at that moment. I shall request Devjani ma'am to felicitate the speaker.